Welcome to Mirror Domains, and this is writing a new Friday the 13th Spec script session. Wow, what is this? Yeah, the topic came up earlier today about a possible new Friday the 13th movie, and how Jason Blum from Blumhouse wants to get their hands on this franchise. And it just came up in my head, well, like, guys, shouldn't be that hard to write a new movie. So this is going to be a raw session here, guys. This is the first time I've done this, and so just be aware, my idea for this is that I'm going to cut it out later and chop it down into the segments that most people will find appealing, because there's just going to be a lot of me going ooh, yeah, but it just so happens that I am a fan of the franchise, and I feel like there's some stuff here that we should go over, right? Like, what are the major staples of Friday the 13th, right? And we might as well just start off by taking a look at what I've got out here on my Word program here. So I've got a simple story circle in bullet point form here. Now, I'm going to use a simpler one just below this, but just to get an idea of the things that happen during the act. So this is going to be a 3-act structure thing, right? I'm shooting for about 90 pages, but this is going to be kind of like the treatment for it, right? So, yeah, while this is the base up here at the top, character, want, initial problem, initial action, get. That'll be more the one that I will be looking at, right? Staples here. Now, must-haves. What is a must-have in a Jason movie, or in a Friday the 13th? Jason Voorhees, obviously. Yeah, duh, James. Jason Voorhees. The mask and outfit, I suppose, right? What else is there? What else is in this realm? Kids who get killed. Or no, let's say youth. Or that doesn't have to be youth. Maybe we're pigeonholing ourselves here, guys. People who are victims. Yeah, let's use that word. Victims. Jason Voorhees, the mask outfit, people who are victims. Those are pretty much must-haves, right? Glorious kills. It's got to be kills that, like, I don't know, the sleeping bag murder, that kind of thing. But what else is a must-have in a Friday the 13th movie? That's what I'm thinking of here. Is Crystal Lake a must-have? Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason Goes to Space would say otherwise. That is not a must. Other than that, I can't think of that too much more. Let's go back and take a look at the original Friday the 13th IMDb here. Let's see what it said here, because we do need to address a little bit of an elephant in the room here. That, yeah, most people think that it'll be Jason that should be the killer. Unfortunately, in the original, it was the mother that was the killer. So, can we go back and do that now? Hey, it's Friday. There's a Friday the 13th movie coming out, guys. People go to see it. Jason's not in the marketing. There's talks about Jason. We don't see him in the trailers. And we don't see him in the movie until, like, the very end sequence. That kind of iconic sequence where it's kind of like, yeah. I don't know if that's going to work for most people nowadays, because at least back then you didn't know that Jason was going to be the main villain of it, right? It was always just a bunch of kids getting killed at a summer camp. It wasn't until like the second movie where things really like it was Jason that picked it up, right? Like a lot of people forget about that, and I feel like we need to acknowledge that. But can we do a reboot where the mother is the killer? No. And here's something else that needs to happen, and it needs to be said right up off the bat. So the 2009 version, the 2009 version tried to do this too. Basically, just give us, it tried to give us a revamped version of like the 80s version with some new age, younger people in there of that era. And it's kind of like, okay, here's a new origin story for Jason. A group of young adults visit a boarded up campsite named Crystal Lake, where they soon encounter a mysterious Jason Voorhees. Oh, it's two O's, James. Two O's. Let's correct that in our Word document. And yeah. So, can it work again? Can you go back to the well with this? I think you could, but you would have to do it in Blumhouse style, where you could only spend up to $7 million on the budget max. And here's the thing. Yeah, it's done before. Movies with a smaller budget of the same ilk that was the original Friday the 13th have come out and proved that they can be successful at that small budget. I'm talking The Terrifier here, guys. I'm talking Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And before anybody says, oh my God, James, The Terrifier, that was so low budget though, and it was meant to be low budget. Well, so was the first Friday the 13th. And I would say they're cut from the same cloth. You guys have to realize this. That's what made it kind of that grindhouse feel is what made it. What's the other one? Terrifier and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now, I would say this. Yes, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was a little bit too crass in its low budgetness. The acting was, subpar. But this like women with their tops off and running around, that's very what people would expect, right? From this kind of a thing. So, one of the mandates here that I would institute is that it's got to be really low budget. And you would have to have somebody in there with that understanding that doesn't maybe has to feel low budget grindhouse, right? I think those are the must-haves for me. So that's what I'll look for when I start to fill these things out. Let's fill out this. Let's fill the top one out here before we get into like the main one here. Say Jason Voorhees. 2 O's, James. 2 O's. Jason Voorhees. What does he want? What does Jason want? Okay, so on a superficial level, he wants to punish young people. Because he feels that he was wronged at some point. Like it was the ignorant counselors at the lakeside camp that got him killed, right? What's the initial problem to this? No one to kill. Initial action. Young people arrive at Crystal Lake. So, before you go off and say, well, James, this is not always the case here, that there's no one to kill. Jason went to Manhattan. Jason went to space. Yeah, so the story did go into different places. That was writers and other people out there trying to figure out a different way of trying to set it up for people, right? but just on a very basic level here. We're just trying to get this through, right? Yeah. So what does he get? He gets his first taste of fresh blood. What would be the problem to this? Problem is that there is a final girl that is wily. She seems to dodge everything, right? Is wily a word? How do I? It's not spelling. Crafty, wily. There we go. So how does he deal with this? He gets up again and tries again. What's his ultimate outcome? He fails. He fails and sort of gets killed. Until we realize that he can't be killed and he comes back in the sequel. So, I'm looking at this, and this almost feels like this is a story arc that, there's a word for this one. And now I forgot what it was. Yeah, there's one where he tries to get what he wants, but then he realizes what happens to him. There's a protagonist one. Story circle. And I think maybe we need to pull that one out. Oops. So what I'll do is I'll go over to the interwebs and say protagonist. No, antagonist. There's like a defeatist one. Story circle. There's like a defeatist one. I forget which one it's called. Easy. Should have been more into this one. Responses. All right. Well, then I guess I have to pull up my older one. I don't think you guys can see this. Yeah. Okay, so I'll pull it from my big fireside. As I said, this is going to be a different raw one, guys. This is going to be just me looking at my notes here. Pivotal. Overall arc. Comfort zone. Flat arc. Delusional arc. There we go. Delusionment arc. Character believes lie overcomes lie, new tragic truth, established beliefs don't work. Gives up on idealism, now empowered by new belief, crushed by truth. Or flat arc. Character believes the truth from the beginning, challenged to change beliefs, doubles down on the belief to achieve their goal, changes story world along the way. No, it's not that one. It's the disillusionment arc. Let's pull out that. So I am just copying that and pasting it over into our reboot one. This disillusionment arc. And we will go there. And we will pull that. Oh, you guys can't see any of this. Sorry. Go back to YouTube, Big James. Thank you. So this is the disillusionment arc. Character believes lie, overcomes lie, new truth is tragic, established beliefs don't work, gives up on idealism. Now, would Jason really have any kind of idealism? What's his ideal? To get corrupted? No. To take out people? We know that, like, here's a question that a lot of people never ask. What happens, Jason, between movies? He gets bested. Drowned. Buried. Burned. But he always returns. Do you think anybody's fascinated or curious about what, like exploring that? Bring that into an angle here? What happens to Jason in between the movies? We know that there must be some kind of not that supernatural realm. Is there a hell in this universe? Yeah. Victims are a must. Yeah. Victims are always a must. We know that that's going to happen. But, having a like, we're not going to go to the realm where it's a worm that goes in between people's mouths, like, and Jason goes to hell or whatever, right? We can't do that. But obviously, Jason gets reborn somehow. He's immune to certain things. Is Jason a zombie? Is Jason a zombie? What makes him go? So disillusionment arc. He fails, he gets sort of killed. Like, if you look at Jason's arc here, it's not very satisfying, is it? Why would you want to watch a movie about Jason? And this is the problem. This is where most people are like, well, then you got to make it about kids. Okay, then we make it about a bunch of kids that go to this camp. Some of them are disrespectful. They get killed off, and it's repeat. Hey, it's something that we've all seen before. It's not new. Why would people go and see that movie? Right? And the reason why I'm thinking that maybe we have to take it from Jason's point of view here is that it'll be fresh. It'll be something that people haven't seen. Okay, why is that not working? That should be working. There you go. Thank you. Victims are a must. Suburban setting. Yeah, suburban setting? I'm not too sure yet. Let me go back to my thoughts here. Is Jason a zombie? Would people... story that the lake is responsible? Was he hiding in the lake until his mother died? Should the opening scene be the death of his mother? At the hands of some youth. Now, and we don't have to pigeonhole the youth here as good youth, innocent youth. It could be just youth trying to film at the lake, and his mother comes along and says, you got to get out of here, kind of thing, and they get killed. She gets killed, and that's like the opening sequence. They think that they got away with hurting this or killing this old woman. Yeah. Character believes a lie. So what would that be then? Jason believes kids killed his mother. But they did kill his mother. They did. So how does he overcome that? That's not right. Established beliefs don't work. New truth is tragic. The new truth. Crushed by truth. See, for that I would say that Jason is damned to die and be resurrected forever. He'll just go through that cycle forever. And why would he continue to go through that cycle? Because he believes that, no, Jason believes his mother must be avenged. Yeah. Jason was reanimated, ergo superhuman metaphysical being. Yeah. Overcomes the lie. Jason, any youth, any person that comes near the lake. The new truth is tragic. The original youth are long gone. You'll never see them again, right? Gives up on idealism. Not empowered by new belief. What's his new belief? Not empowered by new belief. Like, we don't need to see a scene of him making a deal with a demon or entity, saying, "Oh, I'm going to have supernatural powers so that I can keep on coming back," kind of thing. I think that would demystify him a little bit. I think it's just going to be one of those off-the-cuff understandings that we'll just have to go with it. So I don't think the disillusionment arc really works for this. But I do want to take inspiration from other projects that have come up where we see it from the bad guy's point of view. And the best case of that right now would be Saw 10. We see it from Jigsaw's point of view. And it's the people, we don't see it from the people getting stuck in the traps point of view anymore. We see it from Jigsaw's point of view. And I think people, when they try to reinvent or they try to make sequels now to Saw franchise, they'll just continue with that formula. And I think that's something that they should do until it comes to the point where it becomes logical that, yeah, Jigsaw needs to stop being in these prequel-esque type things. And he can pass it off to Amanda. But I think that's the way that I would have to try to go. It's all from Jason's point of view. We just don't maybe perhaps as the audience realize that it's going to be from Jason's point of view until about halfway through, maybe. Or maybe at the end of the first act, us as the audience. Until we finally realize, oh, this is all about Jason. Let me pull this up here. Okay, so this will be jettisoned. We're not going to use the disillusionment arc. But I'm going to keep it in there as my notes. What if the first movie is like RoboCop 1? Now, I'm not saying that it would be kind of like we would see him get created. Like we would see maybe his mother for the first act. And she gets killed or taken out by a group of young people. And then Jason goes out and tries to find those people and kill them to have retribution. It just so happens that some of those people wouldn't come back right away. I don't know how that would happen. Maybe one or two of them would Here's what I'm thinking. I'm just going to write down some ideas here because I need to get this out of my head while I still have access to it. Like Murphy, but instead of being resurrected, this infuriates Jason to kill. So we know his desires, right? We know how this happens. And let's just say he gets revenge on a few of them. A few of the original killers of his mother. But one comes back to the lake at the end, and it's Jason's mother that jumps out of the lake to kill the last guy. And then we would be saying that there's a property about the lake that is that's rejuvenated him. because he dies in the lake, right? Uh, his backstory. At some point in the movie, do we need to explain where he gets his mask? I would say no. It's just there. We know it's part of him. We don't need to explain that this is in the 80s. We don't need to explain that this is how old hockey masks used to be. Did we explain why Jigsaw has the pig mask? Do we explain why Jigsaw uses the bob on the bicycle kind of thing? We don't, right? So it's kind of like it's kind of like that. We don't explain those things. We don't need to, because it's not about that. So this, yeah, Saw 10 would be the inspiration. That we're seeing it primarily from Jason's point of view. But what else? As far as the masks go, I don't really, I don't think we need to worry about that just yet. Whatever hockey mask and the build would be, I would try to work in cameos every year, or as much as I can. I would ask Kevin Bacon to come back. I don't know if Kane Hodder would do it anymore. I don't know if he could do it anymore. But I would have him in there as some kind of cameo. The stretched and tattered mask. I like the Jason Takes Manhattan mask. There's something creepy about that one. Would we do the cheesecloth bag? Because that one was in the number. That was in number 2, right? The vintage mask. Yeah. But there is something eerie about that. And we would have to allude to that there's something forged in there too. So something is coming together here. I'm feeling something coming together here. Something that we can write down. Of a little bit more substance. And I kind of want to... If there are properties in the lake, don't the other people swimming in the lake get affected by the same? Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Okay. There is a summer camp there. You know how in Piranha, there's like that reservoir where they first developed the piranha to become like agitated and killers? What if there was like a reservoir near there, near the lake, maybe below the lake? The lake is a higher up altitude, and the lake just feeds into there, so that anybody who does fall in and gets sucked into to the special thing. Like that would be a story revelation, and we would be dealing with the mythos here. We would be changing mythos, which I don't know if a lot of people would appreciate. And we would be making it very convoluted. Altitude. for science experiments. Experiments to create zombieism? Experiments to create zombies. Now, we wouldn't have to go into that or create like a whole organization about that. It could just be alluded to, maybe. Because here's the thing. I eventually, like, I would like to make, if I were making this, and I'm just taking uh, my constraint cap off. I'm just going to write these stories, and I'm going to write them any way that I want. And I want a Friday the 13th movie where it leads into a trilogy where he's going to fight Jason and he's going to fight Michael Myers. Um, and by addressing these kinds of things, like how does he come back to life? What's going on here? Because Jason does share properties with Michael Myers. With the fact that he's strong, he seems to be able to repel death at certain points. I'm not saying that they would be born from the same lake, like Crystal Lake tributary or something, but maybe there is an organization out there that's trying to develop some kind of zombie agent. You could go with parasites or fungus that remains like in The Last of Us. So fungus is a possibility. Some kind of fungus near the lake. But again, why wouldn't it have been farmed or found out, right? And why would it just be with these few agents around? Um, it's possible, but I would like to have that in there. Like this is, we wouldn't have to have like a huge backstory. Okay, now we're pausing the movie for a 10-minute backstory of this facility that uses a reservoir that feeds off of water from Crystal Lake that develops zombieism. It could be very subtle. Like we would just see a truck with like not a Wayland Yutani, but kind of like that. It would be like the Wayland Yutani of this universe. This thing that's trying to create like a bioweapon or something like that. And then just don't focus in on that at all. I think that's possible. Because if I wanted to tie this into like a Halloween movie and have it also kind of explain this is how Michael Myers gets his abilities. Yeah, and in the my first Halloween movie, it would end. It would end with Michael falling into the water at this facility, getting shot and falling over the railing by Loomis into the waters. And you think that they would get victory over him, but that's what he would want. And that would set up the sequel where we would eventually lead into these titans going at each other. I don't know. But that's long term. That's long term, guys. I'm just having fun here. Jason was reanimated by electricity. Michael reanimated was never explained. So scientific supernatural route seems to be on the table. Except this would take out the supernatural element to it. This would just, well, I guess zombieism is supernatural, but it would add a more scientific approach to it if you said that he's very much a zombie, right? His whole head could get blown off and he would still come at you, kind of thing. Or like big portion of his head would come off and he would still come at you in some fashion. Yeah. Yeah. So we got some interesting ideas here. Can we possibly put together a first act? Yeah, like there's a big bad like in Resident Evil or Silent Hill. It would be a little bit more like Resident Evil, like a T virus. But as I said, I don't want to focus in on that. That would just be like in the background of kind of like if you wanted to find out kind of thing. The hardcore horror people would find out. But on the superficial level, it's just Jason taking out a bunch of kids. Uh, we're figuring out the nuances here so that we can compose a very simple story, but it'll have a lot of nuance into it because we've thought these things out. We've hammered out some ideas here that are very interesting. Um, all right. So do we need to have the kid here? Yeah. So keep the antagonist enigmatic. So let's start again with a new circle. Actually, hold on. I want to make a copy of this because this is going to... That'll be for the Act 1. What does Jason want? To avenge his mother. Initial problem. Doesn't know who killed his mother. Initial action. They used to find his mother. No. I don't know. Like, how does he change it by the end? Maybe I'm getting at this all wrong. What happens to Jason at the end? Jason gets killed and falls. Jason. That looks a little bit weird for some people, so let me explain. Okay. We got to think out some things here. This is just the basic movie. He wants to avenge his mother. He fears water. He leaves the lake area to try to find who they are. He gets to find one of the murderers of his mother. But he can't read? What does that mean, James? It means that he can't. Okay, he found one of them, but now what? How does he get the other ones if he can't read? Did his mother train him to read when he was younger? Like, obviously, here's the retelling of Jason's backstory of what I'm thinking for this new backstory. Jason, as a kid, was Jason as a kid drowned in the lake due to camp counselor's negligence. We all know this. We all know this, right? So, now, with our new thing about the reservoir, Jason's mother then took his body to bury him, but some of the contaminated water from the reservoir near the science station sorry, resurrected him. Pet Cemetery style? Is that what you want? That is that what you want? Pet Cemetery style? Or like the audience won't know this part. This is just for me trying to figure out the backstory here. What happened? So then what happens? Okay, Jason wakes up, but he's not really a kid anymore. Um, he is like that what Pet Cemetery Bloodlines is about. You know, he just comes back with that rage, vengeance kind of thing. Like, you know, sometimes dead is better. No, he wakes up, but he is not all there stairs anymore. His mother tries to care for him and tries to teach him. So it will be very devastating to him when his mother is taken away. And I think maybe we could put in flashbacks of that. Got you. You're writing your catalyst to get the meat and bones of Jason. Yeah. We understand that Jason was a mama's boy, but we gotta fill that out a little bit more. This is just the way that I would do it, guys. So this is like the very base level. I could come back in this like later on and go, ooh, maybe this doesn't work. But as of now, that would be like the his base premise. Um, as a note here, we would establish in a flashback or memory, he can't tell the difference between right and wrong. He yeah. Now, I'm not trying to humanize him here. I'm just saying that there's got to be reasons for things, right? When we would see maybe that his mother is not scared of him, but it's kind of like she realizes that, you know, this after what happened to him, either uh, oxygen being cut off from the brain or whatever, he doesn't have it there, right? So that would be the new backstory. So Jason, to avenge his mother, he fears the water. Why is that an initial problem? Because he doesn't want to go near the water. Fears the water. Sees his mother get killed. Across the water? So what I mean here is that heck is that? What I mean here is that when the kids killed the mother in the beginning, to show that this is a bloody thing that's happening, Jason will be across the water. He won't cross the water to get there because he's afraid of it. So there's things that we could do there that could establish it, right? Yeah, water could be Jason's Achilles heel. Well, it is, and we'll find that out because when we get to a Freddy versus Jason kind of thing, we'll emulate what they did with the Freddy versus Jason thing, where Freddy figures out, right? If there are properties in the lake, yeah. Why is that not refreshed? Yeah. Jason at space level, you are practically writing Shakespeare, James. Well, I'm just trying to see. I just want to share with people that it shouldn't be this hard to figure out something. And I've only been streaming for 53 minutes, and we've already got like a very rudimentary thing going on here, where why is that like that? What is that? YouTube big. There we go. That's what that is. Okay, yeah, my bad. Oh yeah. So, yeah. Let's take a look at this. They wanted to reboot this. Potentially Friday the 13th reboot to develop with the original director Sean S. Cunningham. Because of legal drama, yeah. Because there is a legal drama, because we could never make this film, I'm just putting in elements here that I know as a movie fan that would work to help develop something new, something that people haven't seen yet. You would still get all the glorious kills. We're going to get into them, but it'll be kind of like this time around. Like, did you ever root for the kids in any of the movies? Was there a final girl where you were like, yeah, let's hope that she survives? Was there ever a Sidney Prescott or a Heather Langenkamp character? Right? Is that Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street? So, yeah, we know about the legal battle. And yeah, there's a Crystal Lake prequel series. What happened to that? With Brian Fuller from A24. Where's that Crystal Lake movie, the series? I forgot about that. Let's take a look for that right now. Crystal Lake series. We got to find something about this. TV series. Adrian King. Alice Hardy. So look at that. And they've already, well, you got to have some people in there. Prequel series follows a doomed small town where camp counselors come to die. Where camp counselors come to die? Like, they know that they're going to die going to there? What are you talking about? Hmm. Yeah, nothing about that just yet. But the popularity is going up. Wouldn't it be curious though if we started watching this series and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh yeah, zombieism. There's a science station somewhere." Wouldn't that be hilarious? uh, yeah. Uh, hey, it's just an idea. It's my idea. All right. Terrifier. Yeah. Kids in horror movies are usually conceited and lacking smarts. I only ever cheer for the last kid to outsmart the killer. Yeah. I want people coming out of this movie feeling like we saw Jason give we gave people what they wanted to see. Um, we gave them the staples of what this is, right? As I said, the staples that he's he we saw Jason, we saw glorious kills, and it has to be short. It's got to be short. It's got to be like 90 minutes. Something very simple. I'm not quite sure yet if he goes away from the lake or stays there until somebody comes there. Like I'm not saying that he's smart enough to set up a trap to entice people back, like to trap people. Hmm. All right. So let me go back to my writing here, and let's start off with the circle again. Jason Voorhees. He wants to avenge his mother. His initial problem is that he fears the water and he watches his mother die. So his initial action, maybe he can read, finds a relic that can lead him back to one of the okay. So there are others responsible. So what would happen? So he finds one that leaves like I don't know, like a jacket or something. He follows him back into town. He kills maybe the family of that person, dispatches one of them, and anyone that gets in his way. There are others, but doesn't know where. But doesn't know where. Why is that the problem, though? Maybe, no, we'll leave that. Such a brutal fashion. He kills in such a The town, the town rises up and says, "Evil must die tonight." The town's police get wind of him, driving him to flee back to the lake. Pivotal action. Jason, that's the pivotal action. Jason gets killed and falls back into the lake. But we know him falling back in the lake is actually going to do him good. It's going to help him. It's going to heal him. Because maybe whatever fungus is inside of him, or whatever is made him like zombie-ish, will just only amplify it. The change. Jason descends in the lake, dying, falling towards his mother's corpse. So there'd be something poetic there, right? They think they kill him. Um, and then maybe it would be Jason that comes out of the lake at the end to grab somebody in a shocking way and pull him in. Because we'll assume that whatever, seeing his mother again in the bottom of the lake would be traumatic enough for him to get back to life somehow. Arglass says, you ever try to reverse and engineer a script working from the ending to flow to the beginning? Well, that's what I'm sort of doing right now, isn't it? Usually the first brutal kill would be blamed on the wild animals and delays the hunt for the actual killer. This allows the panic to be subdued until witnesses or physical evidence emerges. No, we would have cops. Cops would be aware that something bad happened out at Crystal Lake after the initial incident. The cop's story would be, there'd be a cop story element in here. Or would there be? I don't know. Why? Okay, so he gets shot, and we assume that he gets pulled back down into the lake somehow. But that's where he would want to be at the end. Okay, so I'm gonna write this out. Act 2, Act 3. So if we were to do it that way, there are glass to do it from the backwards. Jason Voorhees would always be the character. Would he? What's the pivotal thing that happens to him, though? The change is that for the first one, do murderous intent, want What does Jason want in the beginning? To always be with his mother? Well, we wouldn't see him right away. The cold open would, the opening scene would be just his mother getting murdered. Want to avenge. Initial problem is that he's afraid of water. Initial action. He watches get killed. That's the initial action. He's afraid of water. The get. He finds. I'm just going to say jacket. It's really anything, guys. He finds jacket. Of one of the killers. Pivotal problem. Getting back into town unnoticed. Finds an old hockey mask along the way. What did I have up here? Pivotal action. Jason kills. I don't know. Maybe I'm not articulating it all that well. What's the big thing that would stop him though? What's the pivotal problem? The police. So going back to the basic story here. Police. Police are the pivotal problem. That's the basic thing there, James. He flees back to the lake. Falls back to the lake. Let's just say flees. Yeah. Yeah, pivotal problem would be police and population. He, yeah. On foot, would he be caught if dogs were involved? Yeah. He's not fast yet. Was he ever fast? He's just diligent, right? He's like a machine that won't stop. Um, so let's just say who's topical right now? Say Scarlett. is the sister of one of the killers. What does she want? She wants to become a camp counselor like her older brother Steve. Sorry, guys. Her initial problem is that Steve gets brutally murdered. Initial action. No. What's their initial problem? Is that Steve is a complete moron. He's a complete henchman to Billy. Oh, mercy. Oh no, if we want to be more on the nose here. Stuey. Yeah, we'll call him Stuey. Stuey. Wait. Yeah. Stewie. Stewie's a complete henchman to Billy. Is a complete henchman to Billy who always gets into trouble. Initial action. She studies biology or something she studies biology to help her resume to become a counselor. Or no, she studies psychology. And perhaps later on in another sequel she becomes a student of, say, a one Dr. Loomis? Come on, James, you know how to spell psychology. Okay, why are we talking about this Scarlett character all of a sudden? She gets awarded a position at next year's summer camp at Crystal Lake. Why are we giving this so much side story? You'll see, because these two stories are going to come bashing together here in the next problem. Pivotal problem. Stuey gets killed. Gets brutally murdered by Jason Voorhees. Pivotal action. Six the rest of the town. On Jason. Her change. She also wants revenge for brother's death. So there's an overtone of revenge and vengeance here. So we got two stories here, right? And Scarlett will be the presumptive final girl that everybody will pigeonhole as the final girl. We'll set up scenes where it'll be kind of like, oh yeah, she's the one that we should be following and stuff like that. And we'll embed that somewhere in the first act too. She just won't come on the scene in the second act. Like maybe in the opening scene, Billy and Stu will be talking about how annoying his little sister is and stuff like that, and how they have complete disrespect for the camp. And maybe that's when Jason's mother comes out and says, you kids shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be doing that. And then we'll realize that they're buttheads, they're morons. I'm not going to try to say that there's like a grow up situation that was there like in the 2008 version. I'm not going to go for that. And I'm not going to have big underground caverns or stuff like that. Uh, like this would be 45 minutes of footage of story here. Maybe not even 45 minutes, guys. Maybe 35 minutes at most. Like I would want a short first act, like 20 minutes. And then 40 minutes, 45 minutes of the main story here of learning about Scarlett and Jason coming to kill Billy. But then we know that these two forces are at each other here at the first midpoint. So if we go back up to the top here of the first character arc here and look at this basic outline here. Climax of Act 1. Midpoint twist. I don't think we need a midpoint twist. We don't need a twist. We just need to know that now Jason, we're back with Jason, wants, what does he want? He still wants to avenge his mother's death. What's his initial problem now? Scarlett has gotten the police after him. He does he have other artifacts maybe? Does he recognize some of the places of where he could no. So how does he respond to Scarlett? How does he respond to the police coming after him? Initial action. Kills the first policeman on site. Killed the first policeman that responds to the 911. Kills Stuey. No, hold on here. Hold on here. Stuey gets brutally murdered, but gives up Billy. And I'm saying there could be other crew here too, but gives up Billy. Stuey will give up Billy. He'll be like, "It wasn't me, man. I was just doing what Billy said or whatever," kind of thing, right? Um, yeah, there'll be a death plea there. So he gets though. Billy could be. Pivotal problem. Billy also now wants revenge for Stewie's death. But we know that Billy's he's a real butthead. People want him. They want Billy's just like he's a bad dude, right? He likes to kill people. Yeah. So now Jason will have Billy after him and his crew. and his remaining crew and the police. It's pivotal action to return to Crystal Lake. No change. Okay. Yeah. There would be no change because there would be no change here for him. Yeah, there'd be no change here either. No change, James. Now, the same thing in the third. Third act. Final act. Jason wants to avenge his mother's death. Initial problem. Police. Billy are after. There is danger in the numbers. Because, yeah, we know that he's zombie, right? We know that he can go off and probably take them all out with a machete or something. There we go. Maybe he doesn't get his machete until the final end, till this final part. I'm just going to write something down here at the bottom. What if Jason's mother was stabbed through the torso with a machete that kills her? And when Jason dies at the end of the movie, is that cheesy? Is that cheesy, guys? And when Jason dies at the end of the movie, floating down to the bottom of the lake, he sees his mother and takes out the machete. Now he will use weapons and stuff throughout the movie to kill other people. Is that gonna, would that work? Now we would have to introduce the machete somewhere earlier because people will want to see him use it, right? Maybe he won't use it until the third act there. Maybe Billy would bring the machete. Initial action. Police and Billy are after him. There's danger in numbers. Yeah, because he just can't take out all of them. But then why are we dealing with Scarlett? What does Scarlett have to do with this? Scarlett just helped me get through the first act. Or the what does Scarlett do here? Does Scarlett try to convince him not to kill Billy? Initial action. What's the change? What changes in Jason here? Jason is fully created. He becomes the Jason that we all know, the one that can get reborn and over again, right? Um, does he get to avenge him? Does he get to avenge? Like we all assume, we want Billy to die. Like Billy will be built up in such a way. I'm just using, like, we'll change characters' names, guys. I'm just using these names as placeholders. Jason used a number of weapons, so you could end with him finding the principal weapon of the machete. He could use his bare hands for the first murder, as a personal crime. Then the frenzy kicks. Yeah, like I want, like when he's trying to get out of town and stuff, he'll just cut through people. Maybe that's what'll happen. He'll find a knife and just cut his way out of town, kind of thing. But it's also, we're dealing a little bit with like a Frankenstein ending, sort of, where the monster gets run out of town by police and everything. I'm having trouble sticking this landing. um, Pivotal get. What's the pivot? Okay, what's the get? Jason murders Billy. So he gets it. The pivotal problem is that of the police getting the jump on him. So it would be kind of like a standoff where it could be on a dock or something. Jason will be out there, and yeah, he gets his revenge, but he also gets shot and falls into the lake. Gets shot down by police. Except we know that he's got other abilities here, right? So I'm just trying to think about how to close this up here. Billy and the police are after him, but there's danger in numbers. Pivotal action. Pivotal action here. Cuts his way out of town. Pivotal action turns to Crystal Lake. Now, I think, yeah, that's like a very base template of brainstorming a story here that works. Um, is it a great one? That's the thing. Um, this is where you would put in a lot of nuance. This is where you would start to refine this idea, but it's kind of like a base template. Um, this is how I would write stories, guys. You got to start with the story circle, because it'll help you have like a proper structure that makes sense, kind of thing. So you're just not rambling out all over the place. And do it the way that I do it if you have to. Like, just write down ideas, even if they don't make sense. Like, what if the first movie is like RoboCop 1? Yeah. I'm not keeping, like, I put that in there as a note, kind of thing, right? And then if you wanted to refine this into a treatment, um, you would write out like a paragraph of what this basic story is about. This is about revenge. It's always been about revenge, hasn't it, for Jason? That's simple. Now you could put in a whole bunch of, like, for Billy's crew, you could put in like 3 or 4 people in there that'll be fodder. So we would have to create a character list now. That's the next stage. Um, Jason's mom, Scarlett, Billy, and Stuey, the policeman. James, there's no mention in here of that facility that you were talking about. No, there isn't, is there? There is no mention in here of uh, the reservoir facility of working with zombies, because we know that is the backstory. We didn't put that in the movie because it's going to be very subtle. It'll be in the background. It'll be there. Um, it'll just be like off the cuff kind of thing, where it'd be kind of like, well, that's curious. What was going on over there in that scene where we saw a vehicle parked there that said secret, top secret, or something like that going on in that, down that road? There was a sign there. And what was going on down there? There'll be a scene like that, kind of like the way that people camp out at like Skinwalker Ranch. Except when Jason comes back, he cuts through all those people. He kills them. Um, yeah, so now we'll make that note. Have people camped. See, now this is smart because we're using urban lore, urban legend lore, and people will recognize that. Oh, that's very much like a or Area 51 or Skinwalker Ranch kind of thing. Um, Jason will cut these people down upon his return to Crystal Lake in Act 3. The final scene will be one of the scientists near the lake questioning whether any contaminated project leaked into the lake. This is when Jason will emerge from the water, killing him. There will be a, oops, you guys can't see it. There will be a flashback scene of Jason and his mother where she stops him from killing a mutated animal of some kind near a lake, near the reservoir watershed. She will scold him to not become a mindless killer. Yeah. Yeah. Those are cool thoughts. Descends. Add to the dictionary. Stuey. Yeah, there we go. Stuey. Machete. Grammar. Mother. Properties. Mother. Counselors. A lot of comma. A lot of commas in here. See? Easy, right? No, yes. How long have we been streaming? So an hour and 36 minutes, and I've come up with a grid outline and some ideas as to what a possible Friday the 13th movie could be. And I'll tell you this, at least we're not going into Jason's father and, you know, there were rumors out there that that's where they were wanting to go, that they wanted to go into Jason's father and his, oh, he was such a tortured upbringing and stuff. What are the MacGuffins to the plot? Or would you introduce Chekhov's gun or first Scarlett to kill disabled Jason like a Jason? No, I don't think Scarlett would do that. She's just the one, she will have the knowledge. Maybe will change her profession. She's not studying psychology. She's a historian, maybe. She knows the area. Studies history. So she knows Crystal Lake. She knows geology and stuff like that. And maybe she's aware of like the so-called test facility out there. And maybe that's why Billy and Stu are out there to begin with. They're just cutting through Crystal Lake in the beginning. Yeah. They're just cutting through Camp Crystal Lake in the beginning to spy on supposed test facility. Because, you know, that's what young people do, right? So Scarlett knows the local lore. Yeah, perhaps. And there's just a bunch of kids that are up to no good. Trashing one of the camp cabins. Watches the yeah. So Scarlett informs Billy and Stuey of local knowledge and is guilt-ridden for maybe. I don't know if she would be guilt-ridden. There would have to be some kind of an interaction between Scarlett, Billy, and Stuey at some point. Or at least between Scarlett and Stuey. Well, that would be a scene that would be filled out in the first act of, or first part of Act 2. Wouldn't it? Or we'd have to establish. I want it to be so visceral, the first act. But this is almost. Yeah, see, we're already refining it. We're already begun the process of refining the ideas, right? This is fun. This is writing, right? This is where, like, I haven't even begun writing any of the scenes. I didn't even know that I was going to do this when I woke up this morning. But we've got like a cohesive story here that makes sense. It's fairly straightforward. Again, is it really something that people would pay money to see? It would be simple to produce. We're not talking a lot of green screen stuff here. We're not talking about a bunch of kids that go camping at Crystal Lake and get killed. There's a different angle here brought in. We're taking it all from Jason's point of view, for the most part. Hmm. Yeah, I'm digging that, man. I am digging that. So, so, yeah. I think people would get what they would want from it because there'd be lots of kills in here. But it would change a little bit of the lore that Jason's mother wasn't a murderous witch. What if we made her murderous, though? What if we made it so? But that would, again, that would take out things. Let's say a studio came along and greenlit this and said, "Okay, James, we want to buy this script, but you have to go. You have to put in the father, because we know that there was going to be a father kind of thing, right?" Um, if the father had to be in there, and we were to keep the mother as a murderous killer, perhaps the mother will kill the father because the father was trying to teach some morality to Jason. And it's the father that dies, warning Jason not to become a soulless killer. That's the only way that I think that would work. In the lake, the town assumes Jason drowned in the lake. Yeah. So they're just out there at the at Crystal Lake. Planning for supplementary characters is good, kind of showing history repeats itself and murder is indicative of the family. Yeah. The ta- the Hmm. Hmm. Let me take a look at Pam. She did seem crazy from the start, right? So is that a staple element that we would have to have in there? Is that she is just a killer? She's the one that's ingrained that murderous instinct into Jason. So there is some shuffling around here that we could do if we had to have both parents in there. I would say why was the mother crazy then? Why was the mother killing in the first place? We just don't know. She just did. She didn't like the kids, right? I need to go back and rewatch the original Friday the 13th to get what a little bit more of a vibe as to what Pam's vibe was. But since we're crafting a new story, the thing is that here's the why I want to have it in there is of someone warning him not to become a killer is because he does, and a soulless one too. So he becomes the thing that he was warned about in the beginning, or in the flashbacks. Um, every time he gets injured trying to so maybe he will get injured along the way, but then that'll cut to a flashback of something happening to him in the past, of like him drowning in the lake. Flashbacks. Anyway, hold on. Lake as kid. Father being killed by mother. Maybe that one will be a revelation towards the end. Father telling him not to become a soulless killer. Mother teaching him to kill small animals. To kill animals to stay alive in the woods. Mother telling him to stay away from scientific research area. Each flashback fuels him to awaken. Back up. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Each flashback. Again, then we won't know why Pam was out there in the first place with Jason. And why was Jason in the camp So there's a little bit of a tragedy there. Not really tragedy, but there's foreshadowing of there were warnings for him not to do that. Of course, we want him to do that because we want to see him become Jason. So there you go. Yeah. So you'd have flashbacks in there. You would, I would, I'm not saying that I would put in the father. You could easily just switch this over to always be the mother in there. But yeah, now we would go through the second pass and refine it. We would start put in Act 1, Scene 1. I'd start fleshing it out. If I do it this way, though, of him coming in and killing Stuey in the first act, and Stuey gives up Billy. If I do that, then there would be a little bit of a time difference here. We would go back in time a little bit to establish Scarlett. But why do we need to have Scarlett in there then, James? What happens to Scarlett? Or would we take it now from Stuey? Take out Scarlett here. It's kind of like we've got a Luke Skywalker problem here in like A New Hope. People will think that Scarlett's the main character, but she's not. This makes sense from Jason's point of view. Yeah. All right. Well, that's about an hour and 54 minutes of streaming, guys. Um, just my basic ideas of what I would do with a Friday the 13th reboot from Jason's point of view. I hope you had a lot of fun with that. I'm going to save that, and I'll see. The next phase would be to refine, go through that with, again, write out the story circle, put down all the points again, refine it down, create a character list, start putting in scenes. But that's the basic grid outline of what my story would be. And then, of course, then got to work on dialogue. Put in just let your brain go with each scene. You know where the story's going. So you for me, when I write that part out, it's kind of like I'm watching the movie in my head and I'm just typing it, and I love that feeling, man. I love that because I get into it. When I kill a character, sometimes I get emotionally invested, and I'm sitting there writing it. Okay, this person dies now, and I'm like, but I like that character, and I'm like, that's what I like about this. And I just wanted to show that in an hour, in just under 2 hours, I put together a quick little thing here. Is it Shakespeare? No. It's got a lot of cool ideas. Why not? It'd be something totally different that I'm sure all we're going to get out of our reboot is just a rinse and repeat. New kids come to the Crystal Lake. Jason is just there. He's a murderer. He puts on a mask. He kills him. That's the movie. Or the final girl kills him in the end, and that's it. This movie, the one that I put together now, it's got a lot more going on. And it's got the ability to be expanded upon. Right? Because of the scientific station. Because there's the possibility of zombieism in there. my phase here would be to do a second draft of the grid there of the different acts, refine that one more time, write out the first draft of the official script. No, hold on. Before even writing the first draft, I would pen out, just like we did this, I would write out treatments for where the second and third movie would go. Because I would want to embed the ideas of the second and third movie into this movie. And I'd have to figure out how those would fit in. What foreshadowing could we put in there? What's left in this movie that would be expanded upon? The science station would be the first one, right? But then why would Jason want to kill that? Why would they want to kill those people? Why does Jason want to kill anybody anymore, right? He's gotten revenge, hasn't he? Hasn't he? Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we can leave it ambiguous that the people who Billy and Stuey were working for were after something more. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys, I hope that that was enjoyable for you. Let me know if we should do more of these. And if you got an idea for a movie that we should write, let me know in the comments below. What would you like to see us tackle next as a writing project idea for trying to write out a movie here? All right. I think what I'll do is I'll copy and paste the basic outline of the script, the basic structure in the description of this video, so you guys can always see it there. There'll be like the first outline of it, okay? And yeah, hit that thumbs up button, guys, subscribe, and I'll see you next time tomorrow for more movie news. Hey, if you like this kind of stuff, we're always talking about movies here on this channel. We do movie news. There are my other social media handles that you can follow. We do a lot of gaming on Twitch and stuff like that. Reviews for the creators up on the channel right now. Saw 10, full reaction for No One Will Save You, an alien invasion movie that's very different. That one was, I'm gonna have to rethink my evaluation on that one. I liked it, I think. Episode 7 of Ahsoka is up. On Wednesday, we're watching episode 8. Survivor, new season of Survivor's up there, so we'll be watching Survivor as well. Then, of course, we do movie news here live 2 or 3 times a week, at least Mondays and Fridays for movie news. And we do everything movies here. So if you like what you've seen, just hit that thumbs up button. And I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains.